The next session is a panel discussion on women empowerment, breaking the glass ceiling, way to go about this. I would hand over the stage to my colleague CP Jain to do the honors.
I think everyone is ready for the panel discussion. I request Tupa's Secretary Chikasa, Chairman Chikasa to escort the panelists and moderator. Yeah. Aarti, CA Aarti, CA Amrita, and CA Meena Naina. So it's my privilege to introduce the panelists and the moderator. I request CA Tupad, Sikasa Chairman, to present bouquet to panelists and the speaker, moderator. Let me introduce moderator first. C. Aarti is a partner with Deloitte and practices in the area of taxation. She has more than 17 years of experience in the field of expatriate taxations. Her areas of expertise are employee tax matters, rewards and benefits, labor and other allied laws. In recent times, she has worked on providing technology solutions in the HR and mobility space on employee outreach and engagement projects like remote work, retirement benefits, and compliance awareness. She writes articles on tax and social security topics that impacts employers and employees at large. Aarti is a commerce graduate from Mumbai University and is a chartered accountant as well as a cost accountant. She loves reading and trying out new recipes. With this brief intro, I introduce the moderator to the session. So next, one of the panelists is CA Amrita. CA Amrita started her career as with Deloitte in the assurance side, wherein she worked with public listed companies in manufacturing, telecom, and real estate sector. Post close to 9 years in Deloitte, she has joined Infosys in 2012. Currently, she is a vice president and heads technical accounting and revenue assurance group in Infosys. She is responsible for the group financial reporting and reporting compliances in US, India, as well as in the other geographies the group operates in. She also heads the revenue assurance team and is responsible for accurate reporting for global revenues. She is a member of the Global Preparers Forum, which is an independent body from the International Accounting Standards Board and IFRS Foundation, with the specific aim to provide the IASB with regular input from the international community of preparers of financial statements. At Infosys, she also manages learning and development of finance professionals. She is a chartered accountant by profession and holds a diploma in business management. She has also completed Infosys Global Leadership Program in collaboration with Stanford University Graduate School of Business. And our next, with this brief introduction, I introduce CA Amrita. And our next panelist is CA Meena. Meena S. Rao is a partner at Deloitte Haskin and Sells LLP. She is a chartered accountant with 17 years of experience in the field of audit and assurance. She recognizes her for her ability in financial statements, audits, and analysis. Having an eye for detail and highly proficient in IFRS, Ind AS, US GAAP, UK GAAP, and with her prominent experiences in consumer business, retail, automotive, and technology industry. She leads large teams for audit of large multinationals, Fortune 500 companies, entities, listed entities in India, and PCOB clients involved in various IPO projects. She has co-authored the guidance note on internal control over financial reporting issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. She is a Chartered Accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants India and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, and a rank holder in both. She holds a master degree in business administration. Additionally, she has completed in the strategy and innovation course from the Tug School of Dartmouth. She is a avid traveler and likes to explore new places in her free time. She is currently a partner in the audit practice of Deloitte, and she's previously worked in Deloitte London. With this brief introduction, I introduce you the Meena S. Rao. And our last panelist is CA Naina. She is a qualified chartered accountant, dedicated and enthusiastic towards work, has strong team player who is willing to apply for analytical skills in order to add value to both organization and personal goals. To find an organization which challenges and encourages her to enhance her knowledge and experience while working with experienced professionals. She is awarded for general proficiency in Siddhi High School consistently. She did second in the first PUC exams with 97.17 percentage. She works for Dhruv Advisors LLP. She is a consultant, earlier consultant in HC Kinshan and Associates. With this brief introduction, I introduce CA Naina to the asset.
Sitting with all of you all, a lot of achievers, I would say. And this is going to be an exciting session, exciting discussion where we're talking about breaking the glass ceiling. Trust me when I'm saying that while we may not voice our ambitions, while we may not really constructively think about breaking the glass ceiling, the pleasure of being there, the achievement that you face, that's really, really fantastic. And I think every step we take, we are making a dent towards it all through our lives. When we look at global surveys and also Indian surveys, we see that women have progressed a lot. There have been better work circumstances. There are better inclusive behaviors. There's a lot of awareness around gender equity. So work experience has improved. But as we go ahead in our career, we see a lot of our friends moving back, giving up, not really continuing with the passion they started with. There are mental stress, greater household responsibilities, lack of flexibility, health-related issues that kind of surface where we see a lot of women giving up on the way. So on account of this, the gender ratio at the top is a lot skewed, and very few women actually reach the glass ceiling, and only lesser than them, try and break it or cross it. So what exactly is this glass ceiling that we are talking about? The US Labor Department has defined glass ceiling as an invisible but an impenetrable kind of a barrier which stops women from achieving their goals, which stops women from achieving the highest level in businesses. And these barriers are often undetectable, which means they are in the mind. They're in the mind of women. They're in the mind of people around them also. And maybe I could just give you a bit of example here, my own example. When I started in my career, articleship, it was a small firm. The principal was a friend of my dad's, so it was all easy. And it was a tax firm. So I was very enthusiastic. I went across. The first year, of course, we do a lot of groundwork, nothing too exciting. But from the second year, I started noticing that there were certain opportunities which the guys in our firm who were senior to me were getting. And one of them was to go and visit the tax office, to go and represent before the tax officer, whether it's for a rectification or a appeal or something like that. And somehow I was always made to kind of, you prepare the appeal, you do the research, those kind of things, but never really going to the tax office. And then I kind of went and I said, sir, can I just go for this one? I've done a lot of work around this. I can present it better. I dared to say all this. And he said, no, 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 Aarti, you cannot go. You don't know that place. You don't know that those people, all corrupt, all this, all that. No, 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 you can't go. I was a little surprised and obviously disappointed. I came back to my dad. I said, he's saying all this. He's not letting me go. My dad was immensely pleased. He said, oh, he's being so protective. He's being so understanding. And I was wondering what kind of a tax professional I'm going to be if I'm never even going to see a tax office, meet and talk to a tax officer. I mean, how is it that anybody is even going to give me a job saying that, oh, you've never even, appeared before a tax office? 3 years passed off, and fortunately in the last year what happened was all the seniors, guys and all passed out, they went out, and there was no option but for, to give some kind of opportunities to me. So I think that was really, really good. Of course, not many, because most of the time my principal used to jump in and say, no, no, I'll go. It doesn't matter, kind of. But some of them were there, so I was like literally happy with that. So this is, I mean, when you're saying, talking about biases in the minds of people stopping you from, taking up some opportunities, it's not like evil all the time. It's also being overprotective. It's also being judgmental. And somewhere we have to recognize it. We have to kind of raise our hands and fight it out. But yeah, these are unconscious biases, obstacles that kind of create those hurdles, which probably guys never face them. But there are some people or some women who manage to chip the glass ceiling, some crack it, few succeed beyond. I think many succeed beyond. We just heard Sandhya ma'am here. So let's get some perspectives from all these lovely ladies here. They are experienced, lots and lots of years of experience, and we have got a younger colleague here. So she will give us a perspective of what Gen Z believes in. So maybe let's start with the first question here. We opened the discussion to say that, okay, do you still feel like you are educated, you are well-to-do? Do you still feel that we still need to worry about biases at workplace? And at the entry level, what do you face there? So maybe over to you.
Thanks, Aarti. Thanks for the wonderful introduction, and thank you for the opportunity here. Yes, I do believe there is bias. There is no doubt. There is, for me, what I see across in my years of experience and interaction with people, interaction with my team members, people in the client place and all. There are primarily, I would say, two kinds of bias. One that is in our own mind, right? Mindset feel that, oh, women cannot achieve higher heights, or women cannot reach to the top of an organization, women cannot lead a team. I think that's our own conscious bias. And frankly, looking at the crowd today here, looking that there are no empty chairs, it makes you feel happy that we have all come along, we have put ourselves to that situation that yes, we want to break that glass ceiling and we want to move ahead. That's definitely a bias in our mindset, and which is what we need to kind of break and move forward. The second thing is also that what we see across ourselves, right? Your colleagues, your organization, companies, and I'll give you my own example. I was interviewing for partnership at the firm, and that's a pretty long process. It is about 6 to 8 months of process, and you're put through hundreds of interviews. You have to travel, you have to make presentations, do this and do that, and many more things across. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'll keep that aside, I was the only women candidate from audit in Bangalore. right? So there were a lot of other men. Of all of them in audit, there were 2 women, one from here and one from Mumbai, but the larger population was men, and that's of course the common thing across all organizations. So forget my organization, my own relatives and my own family members did tell, oh, you are a female candidate, they'll surely promote you, you don't have to worry about it. Isn't that a bias? Why would an organization put in so much of investment in a woman if she is not capable of, right? Unless I am able to go take the risk of signing an audit report, if I am not able to go present myself in front of a board of a large listed entity, why will the company invest in me, right? Why will the board invest in me? So have that self-confidence in you. Don't just get taken away by what people are saying across. While there will be that bias, people across the organizations, your own family, your own set of people, colleagues, whoever it is, that kind of creates a self-doubt that will lead to what we had in the beginning. And that's where I feel there is bias. It's for us to see how you deal with it.
Absolutely, absolutely true. And I think somewhere, these things we should voice it out. Because as you said, forget about anybody else. It's our own family members who make this statement. And they are not really being, sarcastic or demeaning. They're just making it to feel us better, but it doesn't feel. It snatches the happiness out of getting into that achievement. Yeah. Amrita.
Thank you, Aarti, and good afternoon, all of you. It's really very, very interesting to see so many faces, and I'm sure each one of you will have your own story. So I actually look forward to interacting with all of you during lunch, maybe, and hear your stories. I'm sure it's going to be very, very interesting. Coming to bias, right, I just have a little bit of a different perspective. See, bias exists for everybody. We ourselves are very much responsible for having a biased opinion. Like, let's say somebody, very simple, comes for a meeting late, once, twice, thrice, then we have decided that that person is a latecomer. So it doesn't matter whether that person is a male or female, we have already got an opinion that's already fixated in our mind. So bias is there. I'm sure men face bias too. It's not that men don't face bias. But the only thing is, when it comes to being a female, is that you have the double bias, right? You have the bias which everybody faces, and then you have a bias which you need to face because you're a female. So there are things which people believe that, yes, you as a woman cannot do, or, you have a small kid, you can't do. You're married, or you have ailing parents or ailing in-laws, you can't do. And this starts right from the entry level, right? So when somebody joins a company or a practice or a firm, the first things that get asked at the interview stage might be very different from a woman candidate as compared to a male candidate. And I'm sure each one of you have gone through that. Now, when the bias starts at that level, at the starting level, you carry it through your journey. So there is a study by McKinsey which says that for every 100 people who are promoted, males who are promoted at an entry level into a managerial level, there are only 87% women who are promoted. So that's the parity that you're looking at an entry level. And this parity, of course, translates into pay disparity, not parity, sorry, pay disparity. And that's what you continue throughout your career, unless you put a stop to it somewhere, unless you say, hey, I am better, or I am much, much more better. So bias, of course, exists, whether we like it or not. The end point or the moot point is that how we as a female are able to understand it, recognize it, and then get over it, and don't let it bog you down. It's very easy to say that, yes, I'm not treated very well, so I give up. I just don't want to work here. What are we doing to ensure that the bias can be broken? What are we doing to ensure that we stand up, that we emerge stronger from this? That becomes very, very important for us.
Thank you, Amrita. And Naina?
So bias, okay, first of all, good afternoon to everyone here. It's so nice to see so many of you all here. So bias, even though I've just started my career, I saw a bias at the very entrance. When I was interviewing at various places, the questions which were asked to my male counterparts, they were largely pertaining to their qualification, their prior experience during articles, and their number of attempts and things of that sort. But when it came to me, the additional question was, do you have marriage on your cards? So does that mean that this will also have an impact on their decision of hiring me or not? Would my male counterpart not get married? If I were to get married, even he would get married, right? So the life event would remain the same, but the impact of that life event should not be the source of you taking a decision of hiring me or not. So what can we do in such situations? When I was asked this question, and I was not even expecting it, because I thought that we belong to a fraternity where we are so qualified and so educated. So I was not expecting this, and I was taken off guard. I was like, okay, I need to answer this. So I had not really prepared for an answer, but my instant answer was, would this even have an impact on your decision? And the person who was interviewing me, he was shocked. He was not expecting this answer. So he was expecting she'll say probably a yes or a no, and she will defend it. I said, irrespective of my answer, will it impact your decision of hiring me? And then he had no choice but to say no, and then he proceeded with the other questions.
Hey, thanks, Naina. In fact, I think a lot of these questions with biases, they're better, responded to with humor also, in terms of, is marriage on your plans? So, I mean, the normal thing which I had answered is, isn't that for everybody at this age? I mean, so it's just about a common sense kind of a thing, right? Guys get married, people do go on paternity leave. I had a funny example. I was leading a team all with men, right? And there is this manager who comes to me and saying, "Ma'am, we cannot hire any more women in the." I said, what? What are you talking, and whom are you talking to? Why, no, this girl came and she got married. This girl came and she put in her papers because she's not liking the job. This girl. I said, you can't think of it that way. But there was no way that I could reason out. So I said, okay, fine. Please go ahead and hire guys. Believe me, within 6 months, he was back to hiring a girl, because the guy had someone wanted change of mind. So the person went in for bodybuilding. The second one went in for guitar classes. The third said, "This is not." Sorry. I don't know. I don't know. But I guess the guys who came were all bored with all the other guys in the team. They wanted more color, more fun over there, I guess. So he went back to saying, no, women are better, because at least 6 to 8 months they try to get adjusted. They try to. I said, this is good. This is good. Actually, it resonates with all that Sandhya has said, but much more into a ground level, much more into day-to-day activities as to what are we facing as a boss, as a colleague who's just joining in, all kinds of things. So I'm sure, since I see smiles on all of your faces, it resonates with all of you all. So maybe, Naina, over to you again. What do you expect employers to do? How do you think employers should be responding to this?
So what I would expect from my employer, if I've been given an assignment or a client or something to handle, give me the flexibility which comes along with it, because we as the female of the house, we are usually so much into our responsibility towards work as well as at home. We have so many roles to play. So if at all I am choosing to play all the roles, give me the flexibility to play those roles. Suppose I am given an appeal to work on, and it is due after a week. Give me the time to say that, yes, this is due, and you will handle it. And if you want to work from home, then please go ahead, work from home, but then just do my job correctly. Don't try to micromanage me. Simple as that. Sometimes, suppose if at all I were to give a very simple example, if at all I am having ailing parents at home, I cannot say that I will not perform well at office. I will definitely perform well, because it is what I've chosen to do. Plus, I cannot undermine my responsibility towards them. My responsibility towards both the things can be handled if I'm just present at home. I may not have to do anything. Even my presence at home can make a lot of difference. So give me that flexibility to say that, yeah, you can do it from home, manage it the way you want, manage it at the time the way you want, but then this is the timeline to complete it. Once I'm done with that, I should be able to move ahead with the next task. But then don't try to micromanage me, put me in a position to, choose between my work and my family. If I'm given this sort of an encouragement, definitely every woman can perform each and every role which is bestowed upon her in the best possible manner. This is what at least I believe.
Thanks, Naina. So this is, I think this is a challenge which most of us would have faced when we started in our career, because there are a lot of, responsibilities that come around, and a lot of changes in our life also that come along. We get married at the same time, adjusting to a new family, different family members, new job, new environment, kids maybe. So all of these things make Naina's point very valid, that yes, I need to have some breathing space. I would say, in order to negotiate these terms, we need to create that credibility. Like, I can probably at the entrance level give a freedom to my junior if I trust in him, and he has to establish that trust, he or she. So I'm okay to giving that flexibility, provided that person has established that credibility. So use your formative years in any organization or in your career to establish that when you don't have any responsibilities to take care of, so that you can encash on it later. That is something which kind of you should be able to balance it, because nobody is just going to give it just like that. But this is something that is there. One other point which Sandhya ma'am also made is that when you go up in your career, it is necessary to be present in person, right? It is really necessary to be there, to be seen, to be heard, to be noticed. All of these things. It cannot be done in any other fashion, because when you're going up, you're looking at a leader. It is obviously going to be a situation where people are going to say, hey, I don't know this person. I don't know what kind of a leader. You should have a consensus around that, oh yeah, I know her. So she is, I've heard her talk. I've seen her do that project. That kind of a thing. So as you go up, and most probably at that point of time, most of your responsibilities are taken care of. So that would be a better strategy to move up faster, to move up in a much more smoother fashion. So maybe turning to you, Amrita, if you see every odds still stack against women, how are women going to be get to handle this? What should they do?
Yeah, at entry level, there are challenges. As you move up your ladder, or as you move up in your career, the challenges are still there. They are just different, that's all. Both at the personal as well as in the professional front, the challenges change as life goes on. So if you have young kids when you're starting, you have mid-school kids as you are entering into your mid-management level, and then you have the teenagers when you are maybe reaching the leadership level. And each stage has its challenges, right? So while it is as one moves up the ladder, or as one moves up in their career, after, let's assume you have managed to crack the puzzle and you have managed to beat all the odds and beat all the bias, and you are still going strong. So what happens then is that along with the fact that you're a woman, you also need to develop the other skills that are required. That is, the leadership skills, team building, the ability to take people along, the ability to have a one-on-one conversation with people, understand what is it that makes the other person click, or what is it that puts the other person off, and also develop empathy, because over the years you realize that what has brought you here is nothing but empathy of some people who have invested in you, who believe in you, who have the confidence in you. So let's give back to the next generation what they are doing. So these things change. So, learn. We have to learn how to manage as we move, and we have to learn the moving parts. Manage the moving parts. So it's very, very important that we as an individual, we as as in leadership position, understand that the skills that we develop, maybe we have to spend in a bit more efforts, put in much more efforts than we would have put maybe when, let's say, if you're working 10 hours when you started your career, maybe you need to invest 12 now. And those 2 hours that you're going to be investing is not just for the company, it's for you. It's for you, developing you yourself as a leader, developing you for a mentorship position, developing you as a coach. And that investment is what is going to pay you in the long run, which will take you across as you move higher and higher.
Right. Thanks, Amrita. There's one more thing. If you're a self-employed person, right, things are going to be totally different from you, because if you are working in an organization, all you have to worry is your colleagues, your boss, and your juniors. If you're working outside as a self-employed person, you have your own firm or maybe your dad's firm, whichever way. It's not very easy if you have your dad's firm also. Okay, I know that, but now you are, the society is looking at you. It's not just your employer or something like that. So all the points which Amrita has made become much more evident there, because you'll have to fight every bias of every person trying to look down on you, and it's not necessary that that person is even your equal. He could be any person. There's sometimes people who are very, very low down the cadre who come and tell you कि मैडम आप क्यों इतना काम कर रहे हो, आपको तो easy है ना. It snatches the happiness, because your sense of achievement, because people believe you got it easy. It's not like that. So please do invest in yourself and make sure that people look up to you and nobody questions you to say that, okay, why she? It always has to be why not she, kind of. Maybe let's move on to a very different kind of question. Career breaks. How easy or difficult it is to, bounce back if you have a career break. So maybe, Naina?
So, most of y'all must be wondering what sort of how she's so young and then a career break. So, while I completed my articles before I could give my final exams, so I had to take care of an ailing family member. She was very, very dear to me, and I had to take care of her. So it was a choice which I made that, okay, at this point in time, that taking care of her is more important than anything in my life. So I took a break of a year and a half, and I went back to the firm where I used to do my articles. There where I went back, and so to say, I had proven my abilities there. And during my articleship, I was one of the most capable employees there, as in the capable articles there. Despite of that, when I went back there, the question was, will she ever be able to work the way she used to work before? Will she ever be able to perform well for our organization? And something similar was done by one of my male colleagues because of COVID. This was during the period of COVID. And then he was hailed for it, saying that, oh, he took a break of 6 months because he had to take care of his family. It was viewed as an achievement for him, but for me, it was always a question. And this was the situation to an organization wherein I had already proven my abilities. If I were to join an organization where I had not even proven my abilities, it would be even more a challenging task. There I had to time and again tell them that, look, whatever has happened in the past, and it was a conscious choice which I had made. But when I'm back, I am back, and I'm going to do my best. So what I feel in such situations, how, yes, it is difficult, I'm not denying that, but then how we can come back, two things which I felt. One is, even when you're on a break, please make sure that, you are updated with whatever is happening in the industry as well as on the technical side. First. Second is to continue to have a network. We as ladies, we always forget that how important a network is. We always forget that to speak to our colleagues, our ex-colleagues, to know what is happening I mean, it should be a part of our life that we should know everything about our network as well as the industry to which we belong. So if you are able to do this, then bouncing back is difficult, but yes, it is 100% achievable, possible, and worth it.
Thanks, Naina. Maybe Amrita, something from your side.
Okay. I can tell you all what you should not do during a break, because that's what I did. So I finished my CA and then got a job, and then of course, once you have finished your CA and got a job and you're 22, your parents will get you married, right? So I got married. I was working in Pune, and then after marriage I moved to Chennai. So naturally, I thought that I will continue working in Chennai. And there was no thought of having a break and things like that. So we went to Chennai, and within 3 months, my husband moved back to Pune. So here I was without a job. So I said, okay, let's move back to Pune and then find a job. And then within 6 months, I was pregnant. So now the question was, what am I going to do? So I had my son, and like Sandhya was mentioning, my son was also an extremely colicky baby. Used to cry throughout the night and throughout the day. And by then we had moved to Bangalore, and it was only me and my husband and my son, and very young parents. We were very, very young, so we had absolutely no clue what to do. So that's how life went on, right? Managing the kid, and I had forgotten that I was a CA. I had passed my CA and things like that. And I did nothing, in the sense I never opened a book. I never opened a CA journal. I had completely forgotten what it was, where the accounting world had moved on to, because I was so caught up in my problems. I had so many problems, right from getting up and cooking and, the normal routine things in life. Maid has not come, all these big problems in life. And believe me, they are genuine problems. They are, let's not make fun of it at all, because it's very, very genuine. So this went on for 5 years. I had my daughter. And then I had forgotten, I just said, okay, life is going on, let it go on. But I was getting frustrated, because it was clearly evident that, you're not happy with what you are doing. And my husband, of course, saw that, and he said, this can't go on. You have to get back to work. So he started pushing, and we used to have so many fights, saying, I'm not going to do anything. And he's like, you have to do something. And we just went on like this for a year. And finally, I said, okay, let me try. So I prepared a resume, and then I said, okay, let me now see what's happening in the accounting world. And 5 years is a very, very long time. So things changed drastically. And I was like, I have to start studying all over again. And I floated my resume, and I got a call also. I don't know. I think that was a stroke of luck. Stars were very much aligned at that point of time for me. I was given a time of 10 days to appear for the interview. So the first thing I did was, I used to get the journals very, very regularly at my home, and they used to go right to the newspaper vendor without even being opened. So I went back and I pulled out the last 5 months journal. Then internet was just coming in at that point of time. So naturally, we didn't have computers at home, and there was no smartphone. So I bought some books, did some refresh, and those 10 days of my life, I studied as if there was no tomorrow, really. I studied because I knew that if I didn't do that, I would make a fool of myself in the interview, and I didn't want to do that. So I invested hours and hours and hours, and finally crammed whatever I could. So of course, my 1 year of work experience had no relevance, because who's going to talk about a 1 year experience after a 5-year break? Went back, gave the interview, was very nervous, very nervous. I have never felt so low in confidence like the day I felt that day. But somehow gave the interview and somehow got the job also. And then started the uphill. Like, you've got a job, you are with people who are all smart, who are up to date, who know things, and here you are, who are coming, like, you're not a fresher, You can't call yourself a fresher because you don't remember what you've studied either, and you are now in a zone where where you are just on your own. So. But those years taught me a lot, and I think they gave me the very foundation of where I was able to build my career, because I used to work crazy hours. Those days, along with my kids, my small kids. Of course, I had a strong support system. By then, my parents had retired. They had moved to Bangalore, so I had their support. My in-laws, my father-in-law retired, so they also moved. And then, we had a support system for the kids. So things worked out, and I had to, I mean, if people were putting in eggs, I had to put in 5 eggs because I had lost out, right? So a lot of efforts went in, but I think that was the, I mean, I of course owe it to my husband to, pushing me for this. But if I had not done that, I don't know what would have happened. I would have never really been, happy with myself. I would have never really felt that I have used, what I have studied for, what I had worked for, to the best of my ability. So I think this was important. Now, when I look back and when I see so many young ladies, young mothers coming to me saying that, I am not able to cope up, Amrita. I need to take a break. Things are not working out at home. Mother-in-law is not supporting. All these things which happens. It hurts. It hurts a lot, because I have seen these young, bright girls put in so much of effort to reach where they have reached, and suddenly you have to give up. Just because things are not working out for whatever reason is very, very disheartening. So the only thing when such conversations happen that I try to tell people is that, don't let quitting not be the option. I mean, ensure that in your mind, when things don't go right, when things go wrong, don't think that, okay, if I lose, if I quit my job, everything will become all right. That's not the answer. Quitting should always be the last option when everything else has failed, when you have tried every single other options. And things are different today, right? You have daycare centers, you have nannies, you have so many things which were not there in my time, which are there, and which use it. I mean, don't hesitate to ask help. Don't hesitate to reach out to people, your network, your friends, your parents, your in-laws, your spouse, friends, whoever it is. Reach out to them. Speak to people who have been there, who have done it, who have done it well, people who have not done it so well. You learn from failures also. You learn from a lot of misses, and look for options. If you're a good employee, a good person in the firm, then people will want to retain you, and they will do anything. Believe me, as an employer, I know that, if you are good, I would do anything in my powers to retain you. And ask for those options. Maybe ask for part-time, ask for flexibility, ask for maybe alternate day I will come to office, whatever works for you. But have your choices ready, and don't go with the intention that, okay, the only option for me is to quit. So let's not, I mean, you might take a break. You might be in a stage in life where you really, really need to take a break. But if you do that, go for that break with a mindset that you're going to return. Go for with a thought that you're on a sabbatical. Okay, let me maybe take a 6 months or 1 year or whatever it is. Keep that sabbatical, time frame in mind. And once you have that time frame in mind, start working towards getting back. So that is very important. Let quitting never be an option, or even if it's an option, the last resort.
Thanks, Amrita. I mean, this was really, really candid. And a couple of things that I would add here. This course is not easy. Being CA is not easy. So don't give it up so easily. That is, that is going to be really a pity if you do that. So, and of course, when you're quitting also, or rather not quitting, but taking a sabbatical, as Amrita said, please, make sure you have a return plan ready in your mind. You have a time frame, you have a plan as to what to do during that period of time. And today organizations are far more flexible, I would say, to make sure that women come back. So those kind of plans, or those kind of options are something that you could talk about. And maybe Amrita, you have certain options in your company, right, for people to work out. Maybe you can just voice those.
So while I'm quoting my company, I'm sure most of the companies would be having this. It's just that we need to, ask them. So options which we have, I'm just giving examples. If there are anybody who's running a firm here, maybe you can use these options for your own practice and see if it helps and works out for you all. So the options that we have is there is a program called Return to Work, right? And so basically what this program is, this program is all about is that you give the person who's returning to work a 6 months time to upskill themselves. So let them upskill themselves with whatever area they believe they need to work on. And then once you're ready after your 6 months program, you decide which team or which department you want to work in. So you might decide to do a project which is really a fast moving or a long hard project if you believe you're ready for it. And if you believe, no, I need to take it slow, then you can always go for a project which is at a slower pace, which will allow you to balance the kid or whatever other commitments are there at home. So there's a choice that's given to the woman employee who's returning back so that she can decide how she wants to utilize her time the best, and at the same time get back to work and have her career going. The other option that is there is, of course, part-time. We also offer part-time for women employees who have been there with us and then have taken a sabbatical or have gone on a maternity leave. So there is an option to do a part-time. And then there is also an option of maybe 6 months of work from home and then come back on a hybrid mode, or you come back every alternate. So these sorts of options are there. Of course, there are also facilities like daycare center, which is near the campus, which is near the office. So if there is an emergency, the employee can just go there and have a look at the kid and come back. There are transport facilities, so that helps you, of course, to save your commute time. But I understand that might not be possible for everybody. But what is, again, very important is that think through your options when you are going and talking to your boss or your manager on what are your problems and how you want to face that, or how you believe that quitting is the only option. Have some plan A, B, C kept with you, irrespective of whether the boss is a male or a female. Please give these options. Please speak to them across, saying that, can you give me part-time, or can you give me work from home, or can you give me shorter hours, or can you give me a project which is more a desk job or something research-oriented, where it's not client-facing, where I don't really have to travel so much. And if all those options are exhausted, then maybe you should think that you're not working in the right place. If the person is not appreciating you, then the job is not, you're not in the right place. So look for another job. It's as simple as that.
Right, Amrita, thank you. So I think the next question is, what are steps the organizations are taking to make the environment more conducive for women? Maybe Meena?
I think, like what Amrita said, a lot of organizations we see who have made it easier for women who have come back after a 6 months break, after a child, get back into work, get back into that wave. There are mentorship programs, there are sponsorships for women that are there across. We've also seen a lot of organizations who are coming up with on-site doctor, right, which is very helpful at times. And that's probably not just for women, and also men across in the organization. And more so, what I would say is not just what an organization does, right, but we as leaders of a company, or once you have grown to a height, what is it that you can do to take care of your women colleagues across, right? I'll give you a situation that I faced, and that's very, very much near to my heart, that I have always said, I will not let this happen to another one who has come out. I suddenly once decided that I'll leave the job here and I will move out of country all alone. So I packed my bags, 2 suitcases, got a job outside India and traveled. So of course I went through the same organization, so I got accommodation for 15 days. And I had no clue about the place. I had no idea. I just decided to do that. And I didn't know which month is the right month to travel. And I ended up going in December, and this was to London, where everything is freezing. It becomes completely dark at 2 o'clock in the night. There are no shops open after 2 o'clock. Even if you have to go search something, you won't find anything at all. I went about, I think, 7th or 8th December. The office was open for about a week, and then there is a complete shutdown for Christmas. No one even shows you a house. The first week I went, I was in training, so they anyway never let you go out after till about 6 o'clock. So time just flew by, and I didn't get an accommodation. Of course, it was 15 days. The office accommodation was over. I wrote to the principal asking, can you please help me extend? And that lady has gone on leave. So it's not like India that even in out of office I'll keep seeing my mobile and responding to people. No response. That was expected. I spoke to another colleague. She said, no, you're right. Let's see what happens. If you don't get, you figure out. Probably move out to another hotel. There was no option. I was running out of options, so I had to find a hotel. Now, I don't know which location to choose. I have no clue. I just started Googling sitting in office with some booking.com something and found some accommodations. Found something at some $70 per day. 70 pounds per day, went ahead and booked it for 21 days. I said, okay, abhi to January mein I will definitely get accommodation, let me go ahead and book. All the money that I had carried from here, because it was December, no banks were open, I didn't get my first salary. So I had to manage with whatever I took from India. I ended up paying, took a accommodation. Luckily on the same day I had my cousin who flew from India, and he helped me shift my 2 suitcases. And after going there I did shopping also, so literally 3 suitcases. We took the tube, shifted to that place, and I went to the hotel in Kensington. I, by till then, had no idea that that was one of the posh areas, and I did a biggest mistake taking an accommodation there. It was like the, Sadashiv Nagar of Bangalore, where all your film stars are there. I go to the hotel, and that lady showed, okay, your room is in the basement. And the basement is like a literal dungeon. The room is about 3 by 10, and you keep your 2 suitcases, you have to just step on the bed. After my cousin left, I started crying. Like, what did I end up in? Why? In a place where I have no one, I can't go back and talk to my family. What am I trying to do? Why did I even come here? But then, of course, that was the phase. I cried. I was okay next day morning. I went back to the hotel. They gave me a different room. All that was said. But what was missing for me is someone in the organization, someone that I could go speak to, someone that I could tell that I am facing an issue, right? And probably at that time, I was not open to go back to someone in the office and tell. And that's something that I feel that women today should not face. Anyone in an organization today should have that accessibility to go back and speak to their team members, go back and speak to their colleagues across office and say, hey, I'm facing this problem. Bangalore is such a metropolitan city. Most of the people here are outside Bangalore, right? I'm sure 90% of our population, chartered accountants working, are either from Indore, Kolkata, Orissa, or some other tier 2 cities that have come. And they also face the same thing. I've always noticed a lot of women come, they find some PG in Kormangla, they struggle for 1-2 days. I think what we can do as women leaders, as people who have colleagues in our organization, ask them if they have some difficulty. I think that's a kind of belongingness that they will start feeling in an organization, right? They'll say, oh yes, my boss wants to know, my boss has some concern in what is required of me. It's not just that, there is a firm, there's an organization, there's a company, only companies have to do. We as people also can do a lot of things to our employees around there. If a woman comes back from maternity leave, ask her if there is something that she needs help, ask her if there is some technical support she needs. Probably spend some hour with her saying what were the developments, what all changes happened in the organization. I think that's a kind of conducive environment that you can create for all colleagues across.
Absolutely, Meena, very, very well said. I think we need to be the support system for our colleagues, our friends, our juniors who come into the system afresh, share with them our experiences and also whatever we have learned along the way. And it's a learning for us also, that when we need, we have to raise a hand and ask for help. Let's not presume that we know all. we can do anything. Of course, we'll figure out a way, just like Meena did. And I'm sure this experience has taught you a lot. So, but why should we? Why should we not learn from others' experience? That makes a big difference. So. Maybe we move on to the next question here, and a different question, to say that despite all the conducive environment that we have today, vis-a-vis what was there maybe 30 years ago, we are in much better position. Even with that, why are we not, forthcoming in accepting challenging roles, in doing something different, or to be the first one to raise our hands? What is it that is just holding us back? Maybe Amrita, something from you.
Yeah, so I just want to step back and quote what Sandhya was saying. When you have a performance appraisal, right? How many of the women actually come forward and ask for a promotion, as compared to a man? And similarly, when you are having career discussions, how many women even think where they want to be 5 years, 10 years from now? How many of us, when we start our career, think that, we want to, maybe when we start our career, we think, but 1 year or 2 years down the line, how many of us still hold on to the CFO ambition? Where does it get dropped midway? So I think one of the major block which is there is we ourselves, right? Our self-confidence. Somewhere down the line, we believe that we need to do everything and we need to do everything very well. And women as such, we are all perfectionists. We want everything to be perfect, whether it is our home, whether it is our work, whether it is our relationship, everything has to be perfect, right? Otherwise, we feel we have failed ourselves. Our standards are always so high. But then what happens in this is that what is the one which gets sacrificed in this whole thing is your career. Because everything else is more dominant. Everything else is more important than the career. So we always believe that, can I stay so late? Can I work? What will the family do without me? And believe me, the family will manage perfectly well without you. It's just your ability to let go, to say that, okay, I don't need to be in control of everything every time. And also this misconception of this work-life balance that we have, right? That I should be able to balance my work and I should be able to balance my life. It never happens. There's no such thing as a work-life balance at all. I have not seen it in 20 years. Some days, sometimes your work is important. You have a deliverable, you have a deadline, you have something that needs to be done. You have to give it all. And maybe home is not going to be important at that time. On the other hand, when there is something at home, a sick child, a sick parent, then that is it. Your work cannot take importance. And you have to learn how to manage this too. And the only way to do that is if you have developed a good enough brand for yourself. If the company or the organization where you work recognizes that you are a good resource, a very, very good resource, a very important resource, you have a brand, okay, this is the problem, go to her. If you have developed that, then you become in some ways indispensable to the organization and they will accommodate. Now, how does that happen? It takes in a lot of efforts, it takes in lots of mistakes, it takes in lots of raising up of hands. You have to volunteer for work. You have to volunteer saying that, let me do this. This might not be in my JD, but let me do it. I find this interesting. It's something I can learn, something I can develop, and something which will hold, add weight to my resume. And if you find something like that and you do that, then tomorrow, if there is a situation at home or there's a situation anything outside where you believe that, I cannot work 10 hours, I might work only 4 hours, or I cannot, I can't come to work for the next 1 week, then your employer will support you. So it's very, very important that we do that. And to do that, we develop the self-confidence and the efforts. Just, everything cannot be just in the mind, right? Action, we have to actionize it also. So put in that extra effort, put in that extra hours when you can, when things are easy at home, when, you know, spend some time learning, spend some time doing something which you're not so good at, develop the other skill sets, like Sandhya was mentioning, facilities, IT. Why would a CFO need to know about facilities? I mean, how does it even fit in any job description? But believe me, it's very, very important. It's very important. Like in my job, I do financial reporting as my bread and butter. Why would I, bother about what the learning needs of a company is? But I do that. I do that because I found it interesting. I found it passionate enough to spend some hours. And I spend a lot of time and energy trying to draw up learning curriculums for my colleagues. So it need not be something which is totally in your field, or it can be something which is different if that's what excites you. But if it is something within your field, then so be it. But spend that time and spend that extra effort in trying to cultivate that. And that is very, very important for you. That will take you, that will always ensure that you're one step ahead as compared to the others.
Right. Thanks, Amrita. Maybe one aspect which there was a study which was conducted where there was a room full of young boys and girls, and the question that the first day of work. So the question that was asked to those group of people is. Who wants to be the CEO of this company? And fatak, 95% of the male just put their hand up. They just new. They walked in for an induction and they put their hands up. And hardly 20% of the women put their hand up, and that too after a lot of thinking. So what is it that is holding you back? When you're looking at, when a question is posed to you, I guess what happens is that there is a big questionnaire which comes in front of you. And then you are actually ticking things in your mind. What will my dad say? Will my husband permit? Will my kids be there? What, can I manage this with that and whatever? I think somewhere we need to make those choices. And as what Amrita also mentioned, you have to think about investing in yourself. And it will give you happiness. It will actually give you the push that is there. Personally, as a partner in Deloitte, there's hardly enough time to do anything else apart from work. But I kind of volunteered to do some kind of, videos for underprivileged kids. And the amount of, I can't imagine. I'm doing something which is not related at all to my technical knowledge, skill set, work. It's something totally different, but it's just got me motivated to do a lot more. And to do it without, getting anything back. So I think just pick up something which is your passion, and that will help you develop your skill set. So by doing videos, I mean, whether it's helping those kids, I don't know. Seriously, but there's quite a bit of knowledge, and I have got good feedback also. But honestly, if you do a Google search, you'll get lots of things like that. But as for me, it helps me to be a better presenter, read a lot about things which I wouldn't have otherwise read. So it's like open a lot of windows, doors for me as an individual. And I think each one of us should find that passion for us. So maybe after all of these kind of tough topics, maybe a simple question or a fun question. What do you prefer? A male boss, a female boss?
No, I think let's put this back to the audience. How many of you want a female boss? Oh my God. That's it. We proved ourselves to be very harsh. And how many of you want a male boss? So, we had two who raised their hands for women, and probably, how many of you? Exactly. So it appears that majority of them are listening to what Aarti said. Most of them want to be their own boss, and I think absolutely that's the whole aim. Be an entrepreneur, run your own business, and be the boss.
Absolutely. Amrita, you have something to share?
I have to go with not the majority, the minority which said, not even the minority, the mid people who said male boss. Because female bosses, I've had a lot of female bosses and they've been very, very hard. They have been very hard. And they have all been, top of the notch. So they had such high standards, and they automatically assumed that I should follow those standards. And when you don't do that, then you're not good. You're not good enough, right? So I feel that male bosses and male bosses whose wives are working are even better. So that's my choice.
Naina, you want to?
I would prefer a female boss because I feel that we can as a team build something for ourselves, a safe space to grow with each other and stand for the problems which we all will resonate with. Tomorrow, if at all I go and say a male boss, look, I don't have a maid at home, you'll not understand. But a female boss, because she goes through that, as trivial as it may sound, but she understands the impact which it can have on our life. So I would always prefer a female boss.
So I think we have a rapid fire now. So maybe I'll use that mic. Is it? Hello? Yeah. So maybe one word that comes to your mind when you think about empowerment. So Naina, you start off.
Move beyond log kya kahenge.
Self-awareness.
Empowerment for me is able to sleep with a peaceful conscience at the end of the day.
Okay. What is the most significant barrier to female empowerment?
Most significant. Their own mindset. It is just a mindset.
Everybody agrees?
I think all of us have the same answer. Mindset. It's a unanimous response.
Okay. One of the rare situations where all women agree, kind of. I think we need to learn to laugh at ourselves also. So what is one piece of advice that you want to give to women at workplace?
Own your space. You are aggressive, you're shy, whatever it is. Own your space at work.
I think support the other women in along your way.
I would say speak out. Speak out what is troubling you, what's bothering you, what you're good at, what you're bad at, but open your mouth.
Okay. What does the audience feel? All the three? Any different answers? Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a very, very valid point. Very, very valid. Seriously. I think when we are talking about gender equality, I think we should not ask for too many concessions. We should ask what is legitimately possible, because it raises a question mark on our own self-respect. Seriously. Okay, the next question is, what's your role model for a woman who's broken the glass ceiling?
It's my nanny. She was an entrepreneur at the age of 50. Build her own brand, build her own company, and that's the company which my dad till date runs.
Wow, that's great.
Excellent. I think for me, Indra Nui, who probably 35, 40 years ago went across the globe, became a CEO of an organization, I think for me, she's the role model.
So I don't have one role model as such. I think in different phases, I look upon different people. So I don't have an answer, but I get really inspired when I see so many women. I was inspired by Sandhya today. So it varies. It varies. I don't have one answer.
Okay. What about the audience? Any different names?
Yeah, of late I can see Divya actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her
Yes.
journey is quite
I actually recently watched her video, and so far I wasn't aware. I, of course, heard about all of it, and I didn't know it was the same Divya. So that kind of inspired. And my mom told, when you're going there, make sure you take a photo with her and come back.
Yeah. Any more? Any more answers? I think as a role model, we can look at Sudha Murthy, Indra Nooyi, Indira Gandhi, whosoever we want to. Okay, but when it comes to looking at day-to-day kind of challenges, kind of going that next step, one step, try and see role models who are near you, who at times you can call out to and say, hey, I'm having this challenge. And that person will be genuine enough to tell you, even I have that problem. Don't worry, just ignore it, kind of. Don't look at it. That kind of thing. Absolutely.
One of my friends, she has a special child, and her husband used to work in, I think, some other country, and she was in Bombay. I was also there, and she used to manage her child. She had another child which was 4 or 5 years old. Her daughter was around 17, 18, and she was special child, and she managed her so well, so well. She used to do her, because the daughter was not able to move also, and her husband was not. So, and she was like managing her house, and she's a very big role model for me.
Absolutely, I agree. Because these are, real life heroines who actually manage to do a lot and still be so positive. I find such people much more positive rather than, some people who have it all and they're still worried about some small pimple. Absolutely. I agree. So the last question, one action that you will take to empower women in your organization.
Let's all have a forum at office wherein we all can share our issues, take each other forward along the ladder as in climb the ladder along with ourselves.
I think patiently listen.
I would do everything in my power to stop them from quitting.
I agree. I agree. So, thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your thoughts and experiences. And I take a lot of comfort from the fact that I'm really not alone. So, that is very, heartening. Uh, some takeaways from everything that we discussed, probably. It's focus on the targets. The moment you focus on the targets, the glass ceiling, just disappears because it's not there. You're not even looking at it, and you would not even know when you have crossed it. So that's more important about focusing on the targets rather than the, barriers or hurdles that come across. Uh, Treat any position as a people position. Don't look at it as a male dominated or a female dominated. Today we have women going into armed forces and uncharted areas. So I think we are much more better off in the areas that we are working in. Another thing is find a mentor. That's far more important. And it doesn't matter whether it's a male or a female mentor, as long as they're able to guide you and navigate you through the, twists and turns. Ask for what you want because nobody is going to give it to you. I just want to share one of the things which Sudha Murthy, many of you all would know about it. When she became an engineer, she saw an advertisement which said that, wanting, women candidates, please excuse, or something like that. And she made it a point to raise it to the interviewers who were surprised to see her, first of all, and to even JRD to say that, hey, this is wrong. Because sometimes people are not really realizing what they're doing, right? They're not being evil or they're not being, they're just thinking this job doesn't suit you. You're too elegant for that, but you want to do it, that's it. So just raise it out to them and obviously have a support system in the house because without your house in order, nothing is going to really work out. Life is again about choices, about priorities. You may have to say no to a certain opportunities that come your way, but that's fine. Please don't say no to all the opportunities that come your way. Please pick up what you want and build your brand. That is far more important than anything else because as you grow higher, you know, there are going to be fewer and fewer people. So people are going to be noticing you. You're going to be on the spotlight. And then when people are choosing or voting, you shouldn't lose out. So there should be more people to say, hey, why not her? I know her, kind of. So just make sure you're doing that kind of an investment for yourself. Again, organizations can also formalize this by a mentorship program. They can have forums. They can take efforts to spot and nurture talent. A lot of organizations are actually taking great strides over there, and I would request women to take it. At times I see a lot of women just attending a program but not really gaining from it, taking it away and, you know, improving themselves. Please don't do that. Don't take things for granted, because this is investment into yourself. And also, you know, recognize the barriers that are there. So that's all from all of us. I hope you all have found this program interesting.
Thank you, ma'am. I think wonderful panel discussion. Hope everyone is empowered and surpass the glass ceiling in the mind and ready to become your own boss. On behalf of Bangalore Managing Committee, on behalf of the Managing Committee members of the Bangalore branch of SAIC of ICAI, I thank the moderator and the panelists. I request CA Geeta AB ma'am, Vice Chairperson SAIC of ICAI, to present a moment to all the panelists and the moderator. Once